Welcome, everybody, to Shadow Chasing Show. I'm your host, Turquoise Sky Cloud. Thank you guys for being part of this program. See, the background picture speaks volumes, doesn't it? It's out of this world. Yeah, I can. That's my good friend, Alien. I actually made this guy here. He's my puppet. So, yeah. Anyways, we're here, folks. Thank you guys for being part of the chat room. Yes, we made it through the election and it's over. My God. What can I say? It's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So, yeah, the U.S. election's done. Now, remember the 5th of November, and I'll tell you guys why. There's more things to this whole story that leads up to it now as we speak. But also, and I also thank everybody on the Facebook chat room and also on the YouTube chat room. We're back and forth in both rooms So you can always click on there onto the Facebook page and you say, oh, look at there. Derek can click on that too. You can watch that too on both sides. So if you think you're having troubles one way or the other way, we're here. Okay. And funny thing, I earlier at the beginning of the program, I went to reach my hand up and I knocked off my little microphone and landed on the floor. So if you guys probably got a muffling sound on the floor, or earlier when the show program started, I accidentally knocked it off the clip into the floor, and then I picked it up. Now it's here close by my side. Okay. I got I'm running two microphones, one to the studio and one through my cell phone at the same time. That's why, right? Anyways, we're here. We have a lot going on this evening, and it's going to be related to the 5th of November from the past, but also, yes, guys, the election is done. Donald John Trump actually is now the 47th elected president or re-elected president of the United States. And that's a start. People are saying, well, okay, now he's president. What's next? His next agenda? He can't do anything yet until January, until he's sworn in. Okay. And so also Kamala Harris did her little speech, which didn't make any sense. Anyway, of course, it shows doesn't make any sense. But she repeated herself over and over again, which had no... Anyways, she was actually saying what she wanted to say. And just to get folks riled up, and then she basically tried to, I could say, slip a little bit of Civil War thing. We need to keep on fighting. We need to keep on fighting. And when she talks about the election. So what's she trying to do? I think she's trying to rise some little hairs on people and start creating some maybe possible civil war. I hope they don't within the community. They shouldn't do that. I've watched so many readings and social networks of sorts, right from Facebook to YouTube to TikTok, you name it. And everybody's saying, or not everybody, there's a lot of people saying, well, now that he's president, I'm leaving the United States. I'm moving to Canada. You're not going to like it. We're more expensive than you guys are. What can I say? Scott's in the room. Thank you guys for being there, my friend. You and I will have to have a chat later on through the program, because Scott has his own show as well. We are going to be kicking up a little notch, and I thought I'd just do a little bit of let's go a little provocative research why they chose the 5th of November. Now, sure, it's based on the movie V for Vendetta, right? That movie. But why did they actually hold the election on the 5th of November? It is based on Guy Fawkes. Now, if you don't know who Guy Fawkes is, it's spelled Fawkes. Guy Fawkes is actually, this man here he was actually very famous in his work. He was actually part of the protest. And I want to bring this up for you guys to see. So, Guy Fawkes actually was born in 1570 and passed away 1606, also known as Guido Fawkes, while fighting for the Spanish, and was a member of a group of provincial English Catholics, okay, involved in the failed gunpowder plot in 1605. Now, he was born and educated in York. His father died when Fawkes was 8 years old, after which his mother married a recognizant Catholic. Now, to get further into the story, here's why that they talked about remember the 5th of November. Okay, most people may not know this, but about the singular and parallel strata of historical events to be remembered. Now, this is the reason why Trump chose wanting to be the 5th of November. On the 9th of November was a day of the national commemoration in England where I grew up. He said, this person said, we had to remember the 5th of November, gunpowder treason and plot. Okay. This was a date on which Guy Fawkes, the Catholic renegade, dramatically failed to blow up London's House of Lords. This is very important for all you folks to know. Okay. So this cultural memory has been faithfully preserved for over 400 years. However, the 9th November, okay, never went unremarked in our household. It was always referred to in the German with a shudder, Kristallnacht, a name and concept for which no English equivalent exists. Now, German actually is not spelled German or spoken German. The word spoken German, it's actually spoken German. So the true German people call it German. Okay. Moving to Germany in 2001, I was surprised to discover that the 9th of November was indeed a day when the organized pogroms against Jews in Germany in 1938 were discussed in the media and the commemorative events were held. Appropriate terminology was the subject of an earnest debate. Now, Kristallnacht, the Night of the Broken Glass, was deemed too poetic. And so let's see here. I'm going to move this just slight bit so I can see better. Okay, there we go. Too poetic, and the epithet downplaying the brutality of the events. Now, Reichenstock, the Imperial Night of Broken Glass, was a potential better term, as it was clear that the crimes were state sanctioned and nationwide. Now, I don't speak German, but I'm trying to phonetically figure that out. Reichspognomnacht, the Imperial Pogrom Night, gave a truer sense of the violence and murders that took place. But then again, shouldn't the term Nacht means night be completely reconsidered, as the events did not take place on the single evening, but over 2 days? Such discussions were foreign to me. The 9th of November is the date of the historical confluence in Germany, and combining the November Revolution of 1918, the beer hall Hitler push of 1923. Now, if you guys remember, 1918 also was the Spanish flu that was created back then. Okay, this is all in relation to everything, folks. You're going to start seeing some things coming in like this from all directions. Now, Reichspognacht, and most recently the fall of the Berlin Wall, I noted that over the years the commemoration of Reichspognacht receded into the background. It was overshadowed by stories relating to the fall of the Berlin Wall and the end of the GDR, which is already 25 years in the past, with a new generation events of historical significance were being replaced by more recent events and layers of history, concealing what had come before. Now, in Judaism, the most national calamities have notably fallen on the same date, the 9th of the day of the Hebrew month of Av, A-V. These include the destruction of the first and second temples in Jerusalem. Now, the subsequent exiles of the Jews from the land of Israel and the expulsion of Jews from various countries. For Jews, the events do not replace what came before, although they are centuries apart. They coexist in Jewish cultural and historical memory. Which historical memories prevail today in the Berlin neighborhood of Lichtenberg? Back in 1905, local Jews founded a small backyard synagogue here in the Frankfurter Alley, and they commissioned colorful stained glass windows, one of which featured a large Star of David and the date of the synagogue's founding inscribed Hebrew. Do you guys see that? Okay, now I'm going to bring this to you. I should have brought this to you first to see. There we go. Okay, now you're going to see this. Okay, there's the synagogue, and look at the star, right? Star of David. Now, the congregation grew, leaving the premises and the windows behind in 1934. The building was no longer a synagogue, but the Star of David window remained in place. Stadtmission of the Protestant church moved in during the 1940s, and under the GDR regime, the windows were carefully removed and placed in the attic, where they gathered decades of dust. When rediscovered, the complete set was donated to the Jewish Museum Berlin in 2003. Okay. It is quite miraculous that the window with Jewish iconography was unscathed on Reichspognacht and Set appears to be the only group of the synagogue stained glass windows in Berlin to have survived intact. They remain as silent witnesses to historical events and the changing use of the building, which now houses a lively children's indoor playground. It must be possible for the singular and parallel strata of historical events to be remembered and preserved in some way without obliterating past. Okay, now there's your this is your Star of David on like basically this is here's what comes up. Okay, now we're going to bring this back in. I'm going to show you something here that doesn't make any sense, and that is, or it does say make sense. So what we have here, there's a video that I want to share with you guys, and it's very, very important. This is actually was done by a young lady who actually did a documentary on the Remember the 5th of November, a holiday. Now, a holiday Americans forgot. Now, this is very important. Watch this carefully. This is actually on Rumble. She did this for about 12 minutes. And it's very important you guys see this because it relates to everything that we have been going through. That's the reason why we kept on waiting for the 5th of November. Now, here's something when I saw this and I went, oh my God, because this all relates to everything in history that we've been dealing with, including holidays, that there's events that you'll see that actually relates to celebrations that we've been doing. Okay, so you're going to see some little pieces of, I guess you'd say, well, you'll see. Okay, let's have a look, and you'll have you guys watch this. Here we go.
Tell me, do you know what day it is, Evie?
The things they don't teach us in America about our own history could fill so many volumes, and especially when it comes to our shared history with England. They boiled all of that history down into one little moment in time, basically, and then just kind of threw everything else away. If Americans these days know about the 5th of November, it's likely because they watched V for Vendetta.
Remember the 5th of November.
The 5th of November is known as Guy Fawkes Night in England, or Bonfire Night. And it began after the gunpowder plot of November 5th, 1605 was foiled when Guy Fawkes was arrested guarding explosives that the alleged plotters had placed under the House of Lords. The plotters were Catholic, and they apparently intended to assassinate Protestant King James I and his parliament. The bonfires and fireworks displays, very much like July 4th here in America, the fireworks displays on November 5th, happened across England, and it became an annual celebration of how God protected the king and his parliament, the Protestant king and his parliament, from the Catholic plotters. Actually, the following year in 1606, an Observance Act was passed mandating that date to be an annual public day of Thanksgiving, which remained on the statute in England until 1859. And I'm sure that you would all be really shocked to hear that there's some evidence that the gunpowder plot was actually a false flag.
More perfect stage could not be asked for.
There's actually a book that was written in 1897 called What Was the Gunpowder Plot? The Traditional Story Tested by Original Evidence, which raises some pretty good questions and points out that not only was the government immediately suspected at the time widely of having contrived or somehow fomented this plot, but there was evidence that the government was fully aware that this was in progress and knew about it months in advance at the very least, and allowed it to play out in a certain way in order that the government could discover the plot and stop it for religious and political gain, and also to promote legislation. And one of the guys that is suspected as being behind it was the Royal Chancellor, Sir Robert Cecil, the Earl of Salisbury, who has been likened in the modern day to the Dick Cheney of his time, who would have contrived the plot under Queen Elizabeth, actually, but couldn't do it at the time because she passed away. So he brought it back under James I. And the goal was to make Catholicism so odious to the British people that they could expel all the Roman Catholics from the country and confiscate all of their estates, while also boosting the idea that God had chosen to protect Protestant King James and his parliament via the chosen religion. So it gives more power to the state. Basically, the idea is they foiled their own plot. I will say the government had a full detailed official story all sealed up and ready to deliver to the British people by November 7th. They had all the details, everything lined out, everything to happen. They solved the whole case in like less than 48 hours, which is just amazing police work for 1605. Cecil was also part of something called the War Party, which had a goal of pushing King James into a war with the Spanish Empire, which of course would have made them all very wealthy. After this was over, England became very fixated on concepts like homeland security. I mean, it's just, if you look into this
Now, you guys know Homeland Security, that's right now in the States.
rabbit hole, you'll find a very, very familiar story in here.
The rest, as they say, is history.
But anyway, I mean, I don't know. If you're at all aware of the history of false flags, this whole thing sounds remarkably familiar.
Can you prove any of this? Why do you think I'm still alive?
But what most Americans were probably never taught is that the 5th of November became Pope's Day or Pope's Night here in the American colonies. So this was widely celebrated here for a long time. In fact, there's some evidence that it was first celebrated in American colonies in Plymouth back in 1623. And it was going pretty strong in the 25 years leading up to the American Revolution, all up and down the coast. In New York City, as far south as Charleston, but most especially and famously in Boston. In Boston, Pope's Night was this annual ritual of reversal where the plebs, the lower classes, ruled the city for a day. Boys and girls of all ages, they would go door to door, kind of like mummers. And
Christmas.
And they would beg for money and treats, sort of like
Halloween.
But the big show came in the evening when two companies, the North End Company and the South End Company, very similar sounding to the way crews who design and parade Mardi Gras floats do. They would, the North End Company and the South End Company would parade giant effigies of the Pope, the Devil, and the Pretender, which is the
Brazil. They do that every year.
pretender to the throne, James Stuart, whose son Charles led the failed 1745 Jacobite uprising in England in a bid to regain the throne for his father. So that failed. But these companies for Pope's Night in Boston would make those effigies and they would put them on wagons and they would parade them through town every year on the 5th of November. People would chant "No Popery," and they would battle it out to see who could destroy the other company's effigies. And then they would take all that stuff and they would go to the Green, the Boston Common, and they would burn it.
Burning Man.
Like whoever lost got their stuff burned in a giant bonfire. But the reason this is important to know about is because the organized resistance to the Stamp Act, which is the event that pretty much precipitated and ultimately accelerated the lead up to the American Revolution, the organized resistance to the Stamp Act drew off of these two companies in Boston. Ebenezer McIntosh was a shoemaker. He was the captain of the South End Company, and he would later become nicknamed the captain of the Liberty Tree in these protests, which is another symbol that we're not really taught about in school at all. That, you know,
the first Liberty Tree was a large elm in Boston. It was a gathering place for sons and daughters of liberty, and from 1765 to 1775, other colonial towns adopted their own liberty trees, which became symbols of the resistance to the British tyranny before 1776.
Some historians, such as Alfred Young, who wrote about it, said that it was purposefully forgotten by the elites who kind of wanted to put the genie back in the bottle of radical revolution, because without the Liberty Tree, there would have been no American Revolution. That's just straight up. So there's a reason it's been purposefully forgotten and not just forgotten to history. This one was purposefully forgotten. But you had the merchant class together with the middle class, the popular leaders of the middle class, together with the lower classes. Everybody was uniting together around these ideas of fighting off these taxes, no taxation without representation, and the ideas of liberty. It united everyone across the board. Women were getting political for the first time. Teenagers were getting political. Slaves were getting political. Everybody was getting political at this time. So the Pope's Day kind of flipped over and became patriotic in the fight against King George and the British monarchy system. You had the North and South companies, the Pope's Day companies, coming together and uniting and calling a truce so they could join forces to be part of this organized set of actions that took place to defeat the Stamp Act.
Now, forget too, folks, you also have the North against the South, okay? The Union, if you think about the word, the Union against the Blue, this is all related.
Followed by a massive community celebration of the Act's repeal, which everybody participated in and celebrated. It was a huge, huge big deal. Everyone was out in the streets celebrating that together. And the shouts of no popery changed over to shouts of liberty and property. And John Hancock, who was the wealthiest person in Boston at the time, he bought the officers of the company's uniforms and kind of unofficially drafted them as leaders in this resistance in the massive public protests that were happening in the lead up to the American Revolution. So these unofficial officers from these
remember, this was the very first man that actually created the word the draft to get the American citizens to be servicing in the draft.
State companies became like white hats in keeping the violence to a minimum in these protests and keeping things orderly. So instead of today, for example, where you have agent provocateurs who will infiltrate a peaceful protest and turn it violent so it can make it look bad and undermine the entire purpose of the protest, these guys, these Pope's Day guys who were drafted by Hancock, they would go through the crowd with their own motto, which was literally, quote, "No violence or you will hurt the cause." And without those guys, I mean, things probably would have been a lot more violent. There were a few tarrings and featherings. It wasn't as common as they make it seem these days when they talk about it, but things could have been so much worse. It wasn't just crazy mob riots. It was organized protests with a purpose that were very peaceful by comparison to a lot of revolutions that have occurred in human history. So unfortunately, those companies' truce broke in 1773, and it all kind of fell apart, and the Boston leaders banned Pope's Day in 1774, and then it got kind of double banned because General Washington banned it among his soldiers in 1775 because America was trying to solicit help from French Canada, and he was like, hey, it doesn't really make sense to insult the religion of an entire
French Canada? Does that sound like Montreal?
Country we're trying to get to help us in our revolution against Britain, so maybe we should probably stop doing that. But this moment in history where they shifted.
Let's go back here for 1 second, guys. As the commander-in-chief has been apprised of a design form for the observance of that ridiculous and childish custom of burning the effigy of the Pope, he cannot help expressing his surprise that there should be officers and soldiers in this army so void of common sense. Now, as not to see the impropriety of such a step as this juncture at the time when we are soliciting and have really obtained the friendship and the alliance of the people of Canada, whom we ought to consider as the brethren embarked in the same cause. Okay, in this 1775, guys, Now, the defense of the general liberty of America as such a juncture and in such circumstances to be insulting their religion, so is so monstrous as not to be suffered or excused. Indeed, instead of offering the most remote insult, it is our duty to address public thanks to these our brethren. And as to them, we are so much indebted for every late happy success over the common enemy in Canada. I didn't even know we were enemies at one time. So now you know.
But this moment in history where they shifted a community ritual like Pope's Day and turned it patriotic to use it in uniting the people to fight the Stamp Act across all sectors of society, uniting these people to come up against this, was a huge shift in the consciousness of the colonies. It's just kind of interesting how forgotten this part of the history is, because people know, I mean, some people know about the Stamp Act and how it precipitated the American Revolution, but a lot of people don't realize that the Stamp Act was built on the back of Pope's Day, which is remember the 5th of November. And so in a way, without Pope's Day, Pope's Night, without the organized protesting of the Stamp Act that was built off of the community rituals of Pope's Night, it wouldn't have happened that way. It's just kind of strange how much of our history in this country has been forgotten, and some of it very purposefully. They don't want the people to have the formulas for how to change things. It's really clear. Once you do the research, it's pretty clear. And yes, I just wanted to tell you guys about that because it's really strange this year how it just so happened that Britain had their elections on the 4th of July and our election happens to fall on the 5th of November.
And you guys celebrate the 4th of July in the U.S. Election, the 4th of July in the United Kingdom, and the celebration of 4th of July in the United States, and the 5th of November.
Strange how that works out for what has got to be the craziest election I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder, treason, and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot.
So now you guys know this is very important. Anybody who's not requiring to get the video that this young lady actually did a documentary about, I'll pass it on to you guys. Just actually remind me that you want the video to be sent to you, and I can do that. But when I came across this one, someone sent it to me and they said, Derek, you need to see this. And when I watched it, I went, this is all a purpose. This actually has a reason. This whole thing has a reason, because everything you see, this Pope's Day relates to the 5th of November to the 8th of November. Okay, so we're not done yet. And also, everyone's coming up with this thinking in their head, which is, okay, now that Trump has become president of the United States again, the 47th president. Now, one thing you guys may not know, he's the 47th president of the United States. He's not the 47th president of the United States of America, because the word of America actually is a corporation. But he actually originally is the 17th president of the new Republic of the United States, because this relates to 1776. Now, most of you may not know that, because basically what they are going to be, you'll start seeing a lot of shifting and changes, because everything from 1776 back towards this direction became a corporation, took over. You never really did have a government. You had a corporation that was controlling the citizens of the United States as well as Canada, because we went through the same similar situation in our country, and then others are going through the same thing in their countries. Similar, and then basically it was all to do with control. Okay, so this is what we all went through. Now, not anymore. This is over. That control part is over, but you had to see what was going on. Now, everyone was kind of worried what would happen if Donald Trump did not win. Everybody kept saying, well, what if he didn't win, and what if something did happen to him? And a lot of people are asking me, how come he won? They thought that was going to be it, that somebody else is going to take it, or it was not going to be no election whatsoever was going to stop, and that was it. Well, here's the thing. Trump changed something. Somebody changed something and made the election happen. Why? That means there's more garbage going on. I'm going to use that word garbage. More garbage going on that needs to be cleaned up. There's probably some leftovers. Okay. Scott Harris says Father John Gerard gave communion to Fox, okay, and other conspirators when they gave their oath to each other and what comes before Holy Communion, confession, right? Which is true. So there may be your informer. So the thing is that there's things still happening. Like I'm thinking, okay, this should have been over. We should have been like things should have been shifting a bit more. But again, and I thought to myself, wait a minute here. Yes, Trump is president, but he's not sworn in yet. So you have between now and January. Scott, when is the swearing in of the president in January? I forgot the date. Yeah, because I'm not American. What would be when is he swearing in? What, 18th or 28th? I'm not sure. But when Donald Trump is sworn in as president of the United States, then he's president. Right now, he's only elective president. Okay, 26th. Thank you. So 26th of January, he will be basically re-sworn in. Okay, so 2025. Oh, January 2025. Okay, January 2025, he'll be sworn in on the 20th of January 2025. That makes him at 1:00. That makes him the president of the United States. Okay. So, but between now and that time, there still is more stuff going on. Okay. We're not done yet, guys. Everyone fought for making sure that Trump got in. Great. We all supported that. Great. Whoever did not, that's fine. That's up to you guys. But then we have the next person in line in Canada. We have Pierre Poilievre. Now, some people agree with Pierre Poilievre does, and some others do not. Yes, he's conservative, but the thing is that Poilievre is doing this. When here's the thing: when Trump met up with Poilievre, they both had a meeting together, by the way. And if you'll see on the banner, this is not my photo. This is somebody else's because there's a photograph of, if you look closer, guys, right in there. Okay. This is actually a real photograph of Donald Trump and Pierre Poilievre together. On their hats, his says, "Make America Great Again." And his hat says, "Make Canada Great Again." Do you understand? They're both working together. Look at the same suits. Black suit, red tie. Watched close by the colors, guys. And guess what? That's our symbol right here. Okay. The only two men that can save, they didn't save Canada, United States. They said the only two men that can save North America. Okay. Now, sure, people saying, oh, well, Trudeau's thinking about retiring. Trudeau is not going to make it in the election, by the way. He says, well, no, I'm going to go through the election. Well, here's someone who actually said he's not. Look closely, guys. Robert Ronning, okay, 2 hours ago said hashtag or at Elon Musk. We need your help in Canada getting rid of you know who. And Elon Musk responded. He says he will be gone in the upcoming election. Whoa, there's the day right there, folks. 24/11/07. He said it. He said it. He's not going to be there. He's going to be gone before the election. And everybody's so worried. Okay. So these two men are going to be working closely together to help our country. And so, you know, people are pretty pissed. I've been reading so many Facebook remarks. I mean, they absolutely disturbed me. And there's one that really pissed me off, and I was really upset. A guy did a mannequin of Donald Trump in the back of his truck. And he had another mannequin with her legs spread apart in a dress on a table. And this is the back of his truck. And he was driving down Vancouver, in the central city part of Vancouver. And it said, and it was flying American flag with a girl on her back, with a girl with a dress in the air, skirt in the air on a desk. And he's got shows him having his pants down. And it looked like Donald Trump's face because of the costume. This is disrespectful as all can be. You guys have no idea. This man had never, ever, ever hurt a woman in his life. Ever. And yet you believe the bullshit. And I will say it. I will back it up. You believe the bullshit that every prostitute that actually has been paid for to come forward and say that Trump actually touched them or sexually, I guess to say, come forward to them, he would nothing to do with them. Why would he spending his time with prostitutes or anybody who's a porn star? Okay. And yet they hire Stormy Daniels to come forward and say, oh, well, yeah, he came up to me and touched me. And then and he came to my room. And no, he didn't. He never came to her room. Why would he waste his time? And then you got Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris was around, guys, before she became a lawyer. She was on the street. She was actually you already know, on the street with other girls on the street. That's how she made her living. She was like everyone else. Do you know how she got herself there into politics? You know how you get to the top. She knew she was working with people because she worked for it wasn't even an escort. She was in the street. Now there was a famous TV series star who actually offered her an opportunity to work with them. And so he took her, another woman, and they became famous this way. So thing is, guys, they are going to try to use people to make sure that they are going to. Thing is, when you bring in a prostitute to cause rift in relationships, to break them up, and so if you can try to get them to go into bed with them, and then someone's going to secretly photograph you, oh, I got something on you, I can destroy your reputation. They could not destroy Trump because Trump was too smart. Okay. Yeah. She and so Kamala was with Diddy. She actually was in his crazy ass parties, by the way. Did you know Kamala Harris was actually at his really crazy parties? She hung out with him in the parties. Okay. And Diddy's parties were orgies and worse. Okay. Also, too, so was Stormy Daniels. She was there at the Diddy party. Trump was never there, ever. He met Diddy, but he met him in the White House. He didn't know anything about him yet. He just knew he was just a famous rapper. That was it. And Diddy was trying his darndest to be buddy. But Trump says, you see a photograph of Diddy standing next to Trump, and Trump's got his finger. Okay. Let me show you this, guys. I'm talking back and forth. But Trump would have his finger pointing to Diddy. What does that tell you? That means that he did not trust him because they're saying that he's worse than what he is. Okay. You watch carefully when his finger looks like a gun, so to speak, at the person. That means that they're not good people. Trump's not stupid. And yet you guys think that, oh, he's hanging out with all these people. No, he placed himself there for one reason, to show you how corrupt these people are. Guess what? The actors and the singers right now, since Diddy's been in prison, they're all freaking out. And some of them are killing each other right now. And Diddy actually made a phone call. Actually, I've seen the video recently. It's actually on TikTok. And Diddy made a video, or somebody in the prison, somehow they snuck out the video and they shared it on TikTok. And it showed Diddy being on the phone, and he kept telling his people on the other side to get rid of the pizzas, to start hiding all of the pizza, destroy all the pizza and hide it, box all the pizzas and take them out of there. Now, you guys already know what Pizzagate is. If you don't know, you'll find out. Pizzagate means children. Okay, or pizza. Get rid of all the pizza. Those are the kids. That means they're hidden away somewhere underground. And they're in cages. That's what this is all about. That's how they use signals, by using names, code words. That's what they call pizza to the of kids, calling them pizza. That means boy, and then they start naming names of certain anime or certain characteristics of foods, and that's either boy or girl. Okay, I'm not because they're called freak offs. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. So everything's starting to get spoiled now. Everything's starting to come forward. People are starting to see the truth. People are starting to say, "Hey, now I know what you're talking about." Okay, and you're going to see it. And you're going to say, oh, well, I hate Trump because he's this. Do you know why Trump is he's exposing these people? And the only way that they can try to destroy Trump's reputation to make up stories, they make up stories, and they'll say, oh, well, he's a bad guy. We're going to impeach him. Oh, he's a bad guy because he touched someone. Oh, he's a bad guy because whatever. Now, I'll tell you something. Quite a few years ago, he was actually at a Victoria's Secret event. He was invited to come to be a judge. Now, when you're a judge, you're asked to come to the back, and he wasn't the only judge. There was like 4 or 5 judges, males and females, and you come to the back. No girls, nobody was naked, but you come to meet the models, right? What Trump found out, some of these models were not just models. Okay. Some of them were trying to get his attention. You know what I mean? And so one person who reached out and shoved his hand into that person's crotch and found out later that that girl was a boy. Okay. Your Victoria's Secret, 80% of them were boys. So you're not, that's why they call it Victoria's Secret. Victor Secret. In fact, they made a movie called Victor Victoria. Do you remember that movie? It's based on a true story, guys. Watch the movie Victor Victoria. Watch it. It's based on a true story. That's why they call it Victoria's Secret. It's based from that movie. So there's more to everything. When he was exposing to you guys the truth. When he said those words to someone, he said, if you want to find out about if she's a male or female, your grandmother hoo-ha. That's what he meant, because that's when he was there. That's when it was recorded. It was at the event. It had nowhere. He was on the bus, but that's where it went. That special bus went to Victoria's Secret. He was being interviewed. So now you guys know. This is for real. Okay. And yeah, Julie Andrews, that was the one that's based on that. We're based on a true story. And that's why they call it Victoria's Secret, because it's all to do with the same thing. These are men dressed as women, took women transition, and they were doing this. So these were actually like drag queens, so to speak. And whatever you do in your life, I couldn't care less. But this is what Trump experienced. I'm just telling you the story. So the thing is that he always tries to show you what's real and what's not. Whenever he goes out there and tries to expose people, especially even Biden, for example, he was going to try and expose Biden and some of the people in his cabinet, and he's going to expose them. And all of a sudden, these people knew he was going to expose them, so they decided to do a reversal and go after him and make up bullshit, make up stories, make up shit, as long as they can try to get him to go to jail, to get him in jail. Guess what, folks? Trump never, ever spent the night in jail. Not one. Why? Never did. Because he didn't do anything wrong. He went to court. But guess what? You guys may not realize this, but he was also the commander-in-chief. You cannot put someone who is actually connected to the military. You are sworn in. You cannot go to a regular common prison. You can never spend overnight in prison in an orange outfit. Doesn't work. Okay? And those pictures you see him in an orange jumpsuit, those are AI photographs. Whoever works for an AI company took his picture of him and put himself and made him look like as if he's actually doing time in prison. Trump never spent time in there, nor did he sexually assault any woman whatsoever, ever. Okay, ever. He never talks down people unless he doesn't like you. If he talks down you, he's telling you exactly the truth, what that person's all about. He wants you to know what what the person needs to be, and he wants you to do the investigation. Do your research. Do your research. Find out what this person's like. You'd be surprised how many people are being exposed as of today, not just today, as of years back since 2016. He's exposed so many people, right down to Hollywood. And Hollywood got so nervous, but yet some of the people that were actors and actresses finally are trying to come forward and say, finally, I'm free because Diddy's behind bars. That's what they've been waiting for. They want Diddy behind bars. Okay? That's why, and now once they decided to snag him, they went into Diddy's house, and he's had so many underground tunnels in his house. His house is not your typical, 3,000 square foot house. It's a freaking mansion and territory. It's shaped like it looks like a bloody castle. So many different underground tunnels. And guess what part of that underground tunnel went under? So a lot of actors tunnels. Okay. And you'll see also too, so many videos on TikTok that there's been so many actors and actresses and even famous sports people that their mansions are abandoned. Look, guys, I'm not kidding you. There's so many abandoned mansions, torn apart, beat up, shit, you name it. Why are these mansions abandoned? They're not up for sale. Nobody wants to buy them because they're too damn expensive. But they're not even up for sale. There's no for sale sign. If these mansions are abandoned, what does that tell you? Because they're here. There's a giant barn in both each arms. They're in Gitmo, guys. And if they're not there, they're under there. I'm not kidding you. But they're trying to show you. Trump's been trying to show you. Even Poilievre now is trying to show you what's going on here in Canada. Okay, this man's done his research. That's why he's working closely by Trump. Poilievre's not dumb. He's the man that you want to get to come and participate to work with. He's been working beside Trump for a long time. So you guys can try as much as you can to try to harm his reputation. You can't. Why do you think Poilievre goes and stands up in the cabinet calmly? I've seen Trudeau and all of his constituents yell and scream and banter and not even answer you whatsoever by any words, by any means. Now, I've been watching so many cabinet parliamentary meetings, and so many of those guys and liberal parties are always bantering and screaming and yelling and cussing, and two or three drunk cabinet minister up above, they're just freaking swigging that, kicking back their joy juice after having their coffee break or lunch break, hammered out of their freaking tree. But they're way back in the bleachers drinking. You guys didn't see that? I did. Green Party, drunk, half snap out of her tree. Anytime there's any kind of meeting, oh, she's right out of it. Why is she still in the Green Party? Okay, why is she still going? Because she's a nutcase. She shouldn't not be in government. Period. You don't come in there and show up drunk, hiring a freaking kite. She had no idea what's going on. Green Party, yeah. I'm gonna have some fun. Not in that cabinet, you will, because you can't think for yourself. Yeah, Corlin, I know you want to see him getting arrested. Wait, it's going to get good. I'll tell you why. Like I said before, Elon Musk said he's not going to make it through. Okay? They want you to see. Now, I'm going to go further with this story. There's more wars. There's actually more culturally people fighting amongst each other now as we speak. For example, you got your Hamas fighting. They're actually out in Ontario and British Columbia here in BC, Vancouver, and they're actually on their megaphone and they're saying, "Death to Canada, death to the Canadians, death." Now, why do they want kill the Canadians? Like they're on my head and they're saying these words. Why are they saying this stupid stuff? And yet our police are standing there watching and they're not saying a word. This was a couple weeks ago. Now they are starting, and someone actually came forward and said, our citizens of Canada are saying, enough. Get them off the street. Shut them down. That's the beginning of act of terrorism. Okay. Same thing in Ontario. They're doing the same thing. Now, what are they doing? Now, all of a sudden, we have this problem with India, which never was a problem before. Now, the Sikhs hate the Hindus again, and there's a big, huge, all-out war trying to harm each other now. Guess who started that freaking fight? Trudeau. He was in India, start up shit. Okay, the guy goes up there, and he gets off his plane higher than a freaking kite. I mean, high as all can be. His soldiers went on board to inspect the plane, and they found a whole table full of coke. Okay, and it's been proven. They already mentioned it. It was mentioned in India. It's in the news media. They found also a pallet, small pallet of blocks, coke blocks in there. Apparently, he was going to deliver it to India, and I guess maybe he was going to give it somebody as a gift. I don't know. But he was not allowed to even participate in the G7 summit because he was so high. Plus, he disrespected the country. And so they told him he had to stay in his hotel room for 2 days until he smartens up. He was never allowed to be part of it, and they sent him home. He's no longer allowed to enter India ever again. He's been banned. Trudeau was banned from India, just like Jagmeet Singh. Okay, guys? He was banned. Our prime minister was banned from India, never to enter the country again. What does that tell you? Now they're saying, well, can't trust a Canadian because they're this. No, why are you using our name? If Canada wants this, Canada wants that. We don't want what Justin Trudeau wants. Quit using our freaking abbreviative who we are as a Canadian. Okay? Same, any politician, I don't want some politician to say, well, Americans want this, Canadians want that. How about the people or people that selected me or selected our government? Not Canadians. It should say, I never elected liberals. So I'm not part of Trudeau's little groupies. Trudeau should never say Canada wants. He wants to go to war. Trudeau even said a couple of weeks back he wanted to go to war so he can make more money. He wanted to go to war against Russia. He said the words. Well, we're going to join Ukraine. We're going to go to war with Russia. I'm going to send my soldiers down there. We're going to send our Canadian Armed Forces down there. We're going to go to war. And we're going to go kill some Russians. Really? You dumbass? And last time someone said that before was even Prime Minister Harper when they changed our name from the Canadian Peacekeepers to Canadian Army. He changed it. We didn't. We never asked him to. He changed it. And then now we can send our soldiers out to go and shoot and kill people. You can't. We were always called peacekeepers. Canada has lost its respect. We were the only country ever in the world was considered a peacekeeping country. We were peacekeepers. We were calm. We never looked for war. That's why everybody wanted to come to Canada, because we never caused trouble for anyone. We welcomed every ethnic background to move here as a partner and friend of the country. My mother took great pride in it. Okay. Teresa says, I took an Uber today. Sikh man just arrived with little English, but driving a $40,000 Toyota hybrid. And how does this happen? Well, you get a job. And I'll tell you why. The word Uber is a German word, means traveler. It's a German word, Uber. The Ubers are made in Germany. Okay. That's where the company comes from. It comes from Germany. So basically, Uber in Germany are not called taxis. Their version of taxis is called an Uber. That's what it is. So it has a different name, but they're still cabs. They're still taxi cabs. That's all they are. Same thing. So the thing is, folks, people need to understand that the 5th of November was very important to all of us. And then Trudeau, I watched everything. I've watched so many times that Polyev and his constituents, all the people that actually came forward and challenged even Krista Freeland and said, get her to answer. None of them would actually answer the party whatsoever of the question that Polyev or anyone else has asked to give an answer. And Justin Trudeau thinks that he's the only one that has the right to be the only man that can travel anywhere in the world without having to have a security pass. That's bullshit. You can go anywhere you want. You don't need no security pass. You just go. But he thinks you need a security pass. You know, if you really want to get technical, there is a situation CSIS may not realize that they have someone who's has been corrupting our country. CSIS should be also investigating Trudeau, not just the RCMP, CSIS, because they're above. They're like the Canadian version of CIA. They should go after Trump or go after Trudeau. My apologies. Trudeau, because this is what Trudeau's doing. He's actually a manipulative little shit. We already know that. And anytime that Trudeau ever gets cornered, he gets up and walks out. I've seen this man. Anytime that things don't work for him, that he's gone. He just runs and hides. And everybody goes, "Where is he?" We don't know. Just decides to leave. He makes money. Both him and his girlfriend, or his fake girlfriend, Melanie Jolie. Okay. She works the foreign affairs minister. She's a foreign affairs minister. He chose her, but he needs her because she is his mouthpiece. Because this way, Krista Freeland can't be his mouthpiece anymore because she can't speak. Mr. Payne, me, you know. So this woman's weird. Mr. Speaker. Everybody knows her habits, and people don't realize that she's not stupid. She's a double agent for the Ukraine. You may not know this, guys, but she is. So she, again, they're going to come collect her too. She's not who you think she is. She looks as if she's dumb. She's not. She's very intelligent. But she's playing the role. She has to play the role. And the thing is also too, our country has gotten involved in too deep with some very bad people. And it's because, for example, okay, I want to show you guys something here. This is our paper today. People today, I've had everybody keep on saying that they don't trust the RCMP. I'm going to tell you guys something that has not been, it probably hasn't been released. Like anytime I try to put an editorial out on Facebook or anywhere else, they're saying, oh, you can't say that. Well, here it is. Okay. Listen to this, guys. The RCMP bust massive BC drug super lab connected to the International Crime Network. A massive drug super lab connected to the international organized crime has been taken down after operations in Surrey, BC and Falkland. The RCMP said stopping the production of a potential 95 million doses of fentanyl. 95 million doses of fentanyl. Investigators revealed that their haul at the news conference in Surrey on October 31st. The investigators from the Pacific Region RCMP Federal Police Program reported that the bust was the result of a major enforcement actions targeting a transnational organized crime group believed to be involved in the large-scale production distribution of fentanyl and methamphetamine across Canada and internationally. On October 25th, the police executed search warrants at 2 locations in Surrey and a massive drug super lab in Falkland, okay, which is part of Shuswap, a Shuswap community northwest of Vernon, said the Assistant Commissioner David Tobal, commander of the RCMP Federal Policing Program in the Pacific Region, during a press conference at the RCMP Divisional Headquarters in Surrey. Following several months of investigative work into a transnational organized crime group, involved in the production and distribution of massive quantities of drugs. Federal policing investigators have dismantled the largest and the most sophisticated drug superlab in Canadian history and seized a record numbers of illegal firearms, synthetic drugs, and precursor chemicals, Tobol said. A large amount of precursor chemicals were seized alongside 54 kilograms of fentanyl, 390 kilograms of methamphetamine, 35 kilograms of cocaine, 15 kgs of MDMA, and 6 kgs of cannabis. The cocaine was found at the location in Surrey. Most of the drugs were from the lab in Falkland. This particular lab had the ability to produce without having to refuel on chemicals for weeks, if not months to come, Tobol says. Now, the investigation resulted in the seizure of a very significant volume of unregulated and scheduled precursor chemicals, approximately 5,000 liters of precursor chemicals and over 10 tons of powdered precursor chemicals, believed to be for the production of fentanyl, MDMA, Tobol said. Of particular concern, Tobol said, that is the discovery of several tons of unregulated chemicals believed to be used to produce P2P, which is phenyl to propanone, a Class A seized schedule precursor that's essential to the manufacture of crystal methamphetamine. He said that's a method of manufacturing methamphetamine that hasn't been seen in Western Canada until now. The P2P manufacturing method has been in the primary method used by Mexican cartels. Listen carefully. Okay, used by Mexican cartels to produce methamphetamine for years, Tobol said. Tobol said that the level of a sophistication involved in the drug operation was unprecedented in the Western Canada. Federal investigators working with the Canadian Border Services Agency also executed more search warrants and seized 310 kilograms of methamphetamine before it left Canada, and the RCMP said the precursor chemical in combination with the finished fentanyl products seized at this location could have amounted to 95 million potentially lethal doses of fentanyl in Canadian communities and markets abroad. To put things into more context, the over 95 million potentially lethal doses of fentanyl that have been seized could have taken the lives of every Canadian at least twice over. Not only that, this enforcement action potentially saved over 95 million lives. It has also served to deny that this transnational organized crime group an estimated $485 million in profits. Tobol said allegiances within the transnational organized crime can be very fluid. This is all about making money, he said, that these are individuals that operate by way of convenience and opportunists, and they're not necessarily associated to one particular group. Tobol added also in this case that the drugs were not destined for the United States, but were going abroad. He could not elaborate on the specific country due to the ongoing investigation, but at one location in Surrey, separate from the drugs, police seized, this is Surrey, BC, okay, the RCMP seized 89 firearms, which are included 45 handguns, 21 AR-15 style rifles, and submachine guns. Okay. They also seized large amounts of ammunition, a firearm, silencer, high-capacity magazines, body armor, and about $500,000 in cash. This amount of weapons on seize on one single investigation like this one, which is, by the way, still ongoing and the highly unusual and its amount, and see the type of firearms, Tobol said. Tebow also described the operation as a supermarket for organized criminality enterprise. I refer to it as a supermarket because, as you can see, the criminals operating this were offering all these kinds of commodities, and so now here's what they said: Gaganpreet Randhawa, South Asian, Gaganpreet now Randhawa, was arrested and charged with 6 drugs and firearms offenses, including importing and exporting a controlled substance. He will remain in custody until his next court appearance on November the 15th at the Surrey Provincial Court. Tebow confirmed that Randhawa does have a criminal history, and Randhawa is currently the only person who has been arrested so far. But Tebow said that the investigation is ongoing and there are more people that they have on their list and could be more. Police investigations revealed a list between this criminal operations and the recent seizure of 30 tons of precursor chemicals in the town of Enderby. The environmental safety and cleanup costs of the lab have already exceeded $1 million and are expected to increase. The expenditures have a direct impact on our operating budgets, resources, and ultimately take away from funds that are provided by Canadians for police to do their work. He added, the Surrey Mayor, Brenda Locke, told the now leader she was made aware of this and added, I'm grateful that I'm grateful for the good work of the RCMP in our city. Keep the RCMP in Surrey, folks. This was in Surrey. And you, Doug McCallum, you ex-mayor, you were wanting the SPS officers, couldn't do their bloody job. You kept on saying, oh, the RCMP can't do their job. They just did it. The RCMP did their job. McCallum, you can't do shit. You have always been a corrupt mayor. I hope they come pick you up as well. Because there's something about you that people don't trust. Ever since we have our Surrey Mayor, Brenda Locke, ever since we've had her, she has been cleaning up the city. She's been doing a fantastic job. And I'm asking you guys, those of you living in Surrey, still stand up for the RCMP. They may have had a previous history in the past. Those are the past of the RCMP, what they did wrong in the past, years and years ago. But they were told by the government to do what they're supposed to do. A lot of the RCMP did not want to do the job and harm people. They didn't want to do that, but they're told to. And if they didn't do their job, they would lose their job. And I have 2 friends of mine that were ex-RCMPs that quit. They couldn't handle the bullshit because they were told to do stupid shit and they didn't want to agree with it because to them it had nothing to do with the law. So there were some people that were investigated and they removed them. So now it's back to better than it was before. So again, it's not like Trump had done. He had to clean up the swamp. We have to clean up the swamp because we got swamp here too. And I know our commander-in-chief has been in here too. And he's been helping clean up what's happening in this city, under our city, as well as outside the city limits of Surrey. You guys may not realize the things that I have listened to and heard from. Truths. I've shared some of the information with you guys before. Again, we are having all these things happen to everyone, everywhere. And our city has been, this what Trudeau has done, our prime minister has done, it's called catch and release. That sounds like a fish. Well, number one, folks, I'm going to tell you the story about prisons. When you get arrested and you go to a federal penitentiary, you're called a fish. Okay? And the reason why you call it a fish, and you have to earn it for about 6 months before you become part of the population. And then they let you in the population. Then you become a groupie. What's a groupie? It's like a fish. You find out where you fit in. The thing is, that's what this is. The same thing what Trudeau's doing. It's called catch and release. He lets people do wrong and lets them. If they steal, come in there and they're stealing from people, companies galore, even mom and pop businesses. These guys come in off the street and they're stealing shit, and they walk out the door and they're telling you not to even arrest them or not to catch them or not to stop them or take the stuff back. Here's my word, folks. If you're a mom pop business, lock it, set it up where you make an appointment walking in, or if you're going to let them in, they walk in. You set up a locking system. That means you have to put these little gates up there. They can't exit out the door, and you lock your gate, exiting gate. So it means that you have to press a button before they can leave. That means they can't steal. That's the only way you're going to be able to do it. And they know that. Just like a liquor store. Liquor stores have actually set up locking systems and their exit doors. They'll never let you out unless you have paid for it. And they have the right to do it. So the thing is that all mom pop businesses have to do the same thing. If you want to sell something, if you're in a business, you have to set up a locking system in your own stores. Anyways, I thought I'd share that with you. Okay, now, yeah, okay. Scott says he has to leave. Too bad. I was hoping to have Scott on, talk about his side of the world, what happened regarding the election, but I guess he has to hide. You don't have to go yet, Scott. You got nowhere to go. He's just going to go and sleep. Or you got to do things. It's up to you, man. It's up to you. Okay. Thank you guys for being in the chat room. Those are just coming in. Those actually been in for a while since I've been talking about it with you guys. Travis, yeah, the welcome SW. I know who that is. Linda, Jesse, thank you guys for being part of the chat room. Those are Susan, Raven, Scott, all you guys before you, Keith, Maria. Let's see, let's go back here. My phone, Corlin, lots of people, Sandra. Yeah, guys, and even my wife. And there's more people too. Yeah, love to hear from you guys. Let me know, and also just let me know what's going on. Okay, let's get here to, let's talk about, so like I said before, Trump is still doing his work. He's not done yet. And, you know, like I said, he's the 47th president, and there's still more things. We still have purpose. He still has purpose to be here. Now, sure. And I said to everybody, I talked to a lot of people. I said, you know, you guys can hardly wait till he's elected. Then what are you going to do after that? Are you going to still gather in the chat rooms? Or are you going to go like say, well, okay, I'm done now. He's in and I'm happy. Remember one thing, folks. Q's not done. And Q Plus is not finished. Because there's more work for you guys to do even now that Trump is the president again, or president elected again. Once he's sworn in, then you got nothing to worry about. But like I tell people this, there's something happening between now and the 20th of January. There's more things that are going to happen. You have to witness them. You have to still see it. Now, are we going to go through that 10-day lockdown still? Is it still going to happen? Possibly. Spirit told me that it may not happen till 2025, the beginning of the year 2025, because we have to see what's going to happen next. I don't know. I can't, because it's not up to me to give you answers whether it's going to happen or not, but they're also giving you hints. Be prepared. Okay. So, what else is there? And I want to bring this one in. Find is important.
We're doing really well.
Okay. I remember when Trump said this. This is before the election, I think. But he said these words to let you guys give you guys some confidence. Okay. And he said this.
We're doing really well. Stay online. Don't get offline and vote. Make sure you get through and vote. We're going to have a big victory tonight. We're doing.
Now, he's telling you you're going to have a big victory tonight, even after. So he's letting you know ahead of time not to quit, not to walk away, no matter even what happens after. There's so many things that he's so involved in right now that's keeping him busy. So let's see here. No, that's not the one. I don't want to bring that one up. It's not important at the moment. Where did I put you guys? No, can't do that one. Oh, I might put it away already. I did. Oh, well. I thought I had it already, and I probably put it away. I have to be very careful what I share because we're into YouTube. YouTube has a tendency of algorithms now. They may turn around, not like everything I've been talking about even this evening regarding even this produced paper of a drug bust by the police, RCMP here in Canada. It's the biggest one ever in Canada that ever happened ever. I mean, guys, think about this. Our country, Canada, could have been poisoned. We all could have died from what these guys were producing. They said they can do it twice over. Could have wiped us right out, and we never would have known about it. Think about that part. And they even had machine guns. I mean, what the? And by the way, they also said all of those weapons came from the States, but didn't come from the United States. They came from Mexico because they were marked on. They apparently they were brought in from Mexico. Those weapons. So how in the heck did they get in here? Right. So. Okay, Linda says HY turned off our TV when you started Canadian Info, so back to computer sobs. Why? Oh, YouTube turned off your TV. Huh. Yeah. They turned off your TV when you started. Yeah, I know. And the thing is that they are, I can hardly wait till these guys get themselves in deeper trouble too. They're going to be questioned. There are some people that are preventing us from sharing. And the reason why I can't share information like this, because our Canadian Prime Minister had passed, I can't say he can't pass a law because the real one's already gone. But he's passing what they believe is law, that you can't share it. That's horse crap. The public has the right to know. Okay. I'm also a journalist myself. I've been involved in radio for years, journalism for years. And the thing is that they're going to try to stop me from sharing. So under the code, again, folks, 13818 and 13848 military code, you cannot remove information that's shared in public. That's just the way it works. If I have that here, don't have it with me. But again, I moved some files over and I must have put it away. Or did I? No, I didn't. Ah, look at that. Ooh. There it is. Okay. It says blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption, imposing certain sanctions in the event of foreign interference in the United States, including United States elections. So that's been told. Okay. YT cannot say or interfere. Anything I share, they cannot interfere. So that's his signature. He's serious. So I don't kid around, guys. Yeah, I know. I'm telling you straight up. I know my stuff, man. Heidi, I know you're always getting in trouble. That's good for you. I'm glad you're sharing the truth. I'm always getting in trouble. What can I say? I get in trouble too. I don't know how many times they've shut me down, locked me out. Couldn't go. In fact, even today, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do Facebook because they locked me out. And so I gave them shit. And you can't do that. You can't. That's bullshit. They're trying to see how much they can humiliate you, and they can't. We had a complaint. Really? A complaint. Who was the person complained? We had a complaint. Tell me about it. One person out of a million. One complaint. You can't satisfy everybody. And the one complainer could be one who identifies himself as a cat. We don't know. My cats don't respond to everything too. They may not like what I do. You know, what can I say? So I identify myself as a journalist. Okay. What else is actually going to talk about this here as well? Let's bring this up story. Buried effigies. Okay, yeah. They talk about burning effigies earlier and not flags. Our country has been burning flags lately. And apparently, when I found out in our government law, it's okay to burn a Canadian flag. Why? Because no one passed the law. Because no one even attempted to even burn a flag. They didn't make a big deal about it. But apparently, I guess, was done quite often in the States. So someone made a big deal about it. So they passed a law that it was illegal to burn an American flag. So now we have to, and you go to jail for it. Now we have to do the same thing here. It's okay to burn a Canadian flag, but it's not okay to burn a pride flag. That's not a law, but they're saying it's a law. There's a law. It's illegal to burn a pride flag, but it's not illegal to burn a Canadian flag. Your pride flags are not national flags. They're an identity flag. Has nothing to do with, it's actually, it's just a bunch of colors and rainbows. It has nothing to do with anybody. Or if you burn a pride flag, it means you're gonna get hurt. Oh my God, they're burning my flag. Oh, go to call Trudeau. He'll arrest you, right? Burn a Canadian flag. Oh yeah, go ahead. We don't care. You know, and that's what they're doing. They're getting away with stuff. So, and I can mention people's names who even attempted to burn our flag during the protest. I want to put her name in it, and you guys know. Some of you guys may know Keith. You may know who she is. That she tried to burn a Canadian flag during the truckers convoy when she showed up, little Filipino, and calls herself a queen. And I'm the Queen of Canada, and nobody else is here. I have the say. I pass all these bills. Really? And Trump is not the leader. I am the leader. I own the world. I tell Trump what to do. I own the United States. I'm the queen of the country. I own the United States. Trump works for me. And that's what she said. I go like, really? Yeah, she said that. Yeah, she's a nutcase. So if you guys want to follow her, go ahead. Another cult. And then they go to a small town, hide away in Saskatchewan, a small little tiny town that nobody bothers with. And then she hides in an old retired school. Okay. And they're hiding inside there. And we're in control of the world. This is the queen. Here's a queen. Like, for what? And they also made her little high chair. They got this high back chair and they decorated it to make herself look like she's supposed to be. And the crown is tilted. Oh yeah, she's really going all out now. She's going to call herself the Queen of Canada. Like, you guys are like, really? Really? You think so? I don't think so. She's the queen of the toilet. That actually was a toilet she was standing on. That's her royal throne. Okay. Yeah, like I tell people, if you don't, yeah, like Linda says, if you don't want to see, don't watch. Problem solved. Thing is, like, here's what they do, guys. What YT does, they like to they do watch everything you do. And if they don't like what you do, they try to either chipmunk you. I mean, it happened to me a couple weeks ago. They chipmunk my show. Or they try to shut down the volume, like to turn it right down low at the point that people can't hear you. So I have to be we're careful. I have to be very precise. If I said the word ELECTION, if I write the words down on my show on the YouTube part, they wouldn't never let me in because we're not supposed to talk about the word election. Okay. And I'm saying the word right now. They're not supposed to talk about it or even mention it or even discuss it. Why? Other people discuss it, but because I surpass the political sense of it, I go further with it. Okay. We're going to get dig deep and dirty. So, and they don't like it. Some people have issues with that. So now I'm going to come up with, I'm going to talk about The conservative government or conservative party are talking about trying to make this election sooner than by the end of 2024. They're wanting to make it before Christmas, not wait until next year. Like, we got one more year. Trudeau's also wanting to do an immediate, if he does do a fast or hurry up type of vote thing. But what's going to happen, there's some problems we're going to have with the internet service, because they try to play the same game on Trump in the States by playing around with the mailboxes and burning the mail. They were trying to corruptly try to hide the ballots and place them, and they're trying to hide them in places that nobody can find them. Well, we had the same problem here in BC, which you guys may not know. They found more ballots, British Columbia, BC ballots, our provincial party or provincial election. We just had a week ago, 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago. And David Eby carried on being NDP leader. Now, I already know David Eby should never have been the NDP leader ever. He should have been gone. There were a lot of people who were quite concerned how come he didn't go, and the scrutineers that were involved and the people that did the counting said that Eby won by 2 or 3 votes, whatever have you. Guess what, folks? What you may not know, one of my friends told me they found, apparently there was a scrutineer in Prince George threw away about 15, 16 boxes of ballots in a dumpster. This is before the end of the election. Threw them all in the dumpster. And there was apparently another 60,000 ballots that were just found here in the Vancouver, Surrey region. So they're finding ballots because these are actually hidden away. Here's the thing you guys may not realize, and this is what I call illegal. When I worked for the post office many years ago, back in the 70s, when you do an election, and anytime there's any kind of ballots that actually was placed, when you vote for somebody, those ballots your ballots are like money. They have to be if they're not being if it's too late for them to be ready to be counted, and if it's too late at night, if there's not enough people around to count them, then you have to take the ballots to the post office and put them in a vault. Now, they have to have security there with guns, just like they have to have an armored car. You put those ballots in an armored car and you take them to the post office, and they put them in, you have witnesses there, and they put them into the vault overnight until the next following day to be taken and to be counted. Our ballots are not going that way anymore like they used to. What they're doing now is they're allowing the scrutineers to take the ballots home. Yes, folks, they're allowing them to take the ballots home. They're not sworn in. They're not sworn in to be like, they're not going like, I swear that I'm going to do this and I'll be honest. No, they're handing them the box because they just sign here. Take the box home, okay, and then we'll come and get it, or you can bring them back the next day. You should never, ever, ever take those ballots out of the building and individually take them all home. And that's what they did. Not one scrutineer, every scrutineer that was involved in every location that they had the elected sites, they were taking the ballots home. We don't have every scrutineer that's honest. You know that because your scrutineers also have the right to vote. If they want someone bad enough to be NDP, they would try everything they can to mess with the votes, and they would have lesser ballots to play with. So they would actually hide them, or they would dig deep inside, pull out some ballots and burn them or throw them in the garbage, and they'll have some ballots in the box. They're going to find a way to get in and steal and destroy. Okay? This is the thing, folks. So it should be that not one, ever, no scrutineer should ever, ever have the say or right to take home ballots. That is so illegal. That is a federal offense. You go to jail. You should never. I mean, you're responsible to be in that building. That building is where all those ballots are in one location. You cannot take those ballots out of the building and take them home. Or here, you take a box home, you take a box home, you take a box home. We'll see you in the morning. Give me a freaking break. This happens here in Surrey and it's happening all over, folks, in BC. That was the dumbest thing they ever did. And David Eby gave him permission. Your NDP leader, oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you can do that. Take him home. Take him home. No. You don't take them home. Any of you who are smart and knows what I'm talking about, you guys know full freaking well that those ballots are like cash, okay? Those are very, very important. Those are private. You have no one has any say to take those ballots home. No one has any right to take them home except the people that are electively scrutineered. And those scrutineers are supposed to witness, not touch the ballots, witness. You're not supposed to touch those ballots. You're a witness to watch the ballots be placed into the boxes. There are special groups of people that actually do the counting of the ballots. Not every scrutineer is there to count them too. Scrutineers are witnesses of, and they have another group of people that do the counting, and those counting is taking place in another location, not the same location. So they have to start using their freaking brain, and those I strongly believe, and I want you guys to share this amongst everybody else. I strongly believe we need to take back the real, true elective way, which whenever if those ballots are not able to be counted yet, you take them to the bloody post office, because the post office has vaults. I used to work for the post office. I was actually working in the registry. I know what registers are all about. I witnessed ballots, boxes and boxes of ballots being taken and brought into the safe in the post office once a year, every second year. And they're brought into the safe, stacked up, but that's where the ballots go. It's like money. You're protecting them because those are very valid. Okay. Why are we getting shorter and shorter height of checkoff marked booths now? It used to be where they're high enough that you can't see the person choosing what marker that they're going to elect. Now they're making them high enough just to say, oh, who are you voting for? Oh, okay. Then I'll do the same thing too. They don't have these high pieces anymore. They don't have a walk and stand up piece where you can't see who that person was. They're not supposed to see who the person was that's behind that booth to vote. These voting booths have changed now. They're just cardboard. How about this high, 12 inches high? And oh, okay. Oh, that's who. Okay, I'll do. Okay, so what he's voting for. That's what they're doing. This has got to stop, guys. Our country is so laxed in not, and you wonder why people are bitching about who should be president, who should be vice president, who should be a prime minister, who should be this and who should be that. Because you're letting people see who that person's voting for. If someone asks you who they voted for, you don't have to tell them. You don't. You have the right to not say anything. Okay. I work for a radio station. Okay. I'm not supposed to talk about the who to vote for on my shows. I can say, who do we have in the studio, that what they're going to talk about. They'll share what they talk about, but you can't say who vote for this person. I can only say, thank you for joining us and thank you for being in the show. Have a wonderful day. And you can bring in the next constituent come walking in. They can talk about themselves. One could be NDP, one could be conservative, one could be somebody else. And you're there. Your job is to interview them. Okay, nothing more. But you're not supposed to criticize. You can question them. You can, as a journalist, you can question them about their work. You can challenge them, but you can't accuse them of what they done, because you're already in the election, right? But after, when the election's over and they've all the votes been counted, then you got to wait for a couple of months. Then you can do all the bullshit saying whatever you want to say. That's how it works. And I've been doing it for a long time. And I have a card that I have to sign that I will not, because that gets me in trouble if I do that. I see. So the thing is that whenever I interview people, that's how we do it. And it should be for everybody. So the thing is that they need to change their ballot booths again. They should be a lot higher. People should not see who's inside or who they're voting for. That needs to change. And again, also, these ballots should be treated like money again, that they're secured, because that's exactly. I remember, like I said, years ago, back in the 70s, these men were carrying guns. These ballots were placed into an armored car. I'm not kidding you. They're placed into an armored car. They're for real. Why do you think they close the bars whenever there's an election? Because you're not supposed to be inebriated. You're supposed to be fully coherent. Okay? If anybody asks you, and the first thing he said, ask you too, have you taken any medications? And also too, you're not supposed to be doing any pot smoking before you go and vote, because it can also mess with your head, because you don't have a clear mind. It's all been laxed. I'm not kidding you. It's stupider and stupider all the time, guys. It's getting crazier. But if you have experienced anything like this before, please let me know. And if you agree that what I'm talking about regarding what they should be doing with these scrutineers, what they should be doing, and should they treat these ballots like money and sent by security to a post office overnight until they all get counted? Yes, they should be. They were before. All of a sudden, they don't do it anymore. Well, the scrutineers can take them home. And some of them don't even, and some of the scrutineers don't come back. So the boxes are still with them. But nobody asks, oh, where's the so-and-so with the scrutineer? Or how come he or she didn't come back? Oh, okay, don't worry about it. Or that one person could say, oh, my kid got into the box. They played with all the paper and they wrote all over them. Think about it, guys. Oh, I put the box in the garage. Someone could have broken the house, stole the ballots at the person's house. Those are not secure. Think about it. So I'm very adamant about that. I think it should be done. Okay. Now, let's talk about one more thing before we call it a night. NationalAssembly.net. If you guys ever want to do some research on some really great stuff, there's actually a website called NationalAssembly.net, and learn about We the People. It'll help you quite a deal. Let's see. Where did I put you? Oh yeah. Okay, hang on a second here. Let's put you away. Pick you up. Okay, that one. And nope. Let's go back to Guy Fawkes for a second. Yeah. Okay, I'll take him out. And we're going to do yeah, should be it. You can learn everything. Stop that, Norton. Learn everything on here. You can see the conference. This is all to do with, for example, We Are the People. You can see all kinds of things they can do. Oh, stop it. It is a secured site, you idiots. My Norton is saying it's not a secured site. Screw off. And then they block it. You idiots. Leave it alone. Okay, yeah, this is Google doing it. They don't want me to share this with you guys. Okay. I'll fig you. Here's what I'll do. I fix. Copy. Lose you. Go away. Norton, I found out, or Norton works for Google, so that's why I could change something up here. Okay, where are you guys? Reload. Oh, see, now my Norton locked me out. I have to go and refix it. Damn it. They are saying it's not secured, and then they're locking it out, and then they won't let me even see. Dumbasses. That's what they do. They're ugly, mean, and nasty. I don't like it people when other corporations or companies are trying to lock up my own private stuff, and even though I'm paying for it, they shouldn't have to lock me out and say, no, it's not. It's not. No, you have no right to no say. That should be my say. So I'm gonna find out why they're locking it out. It's like I was looking, and before I got Norton, I was able to see all what I wanted to see. It's really important, that website. If you guys can do it, it's called nationalassembly.net. We the people. And if you go onto the list, you'll see a lot of things in there that will give you more understanding about what's really going on across the world. But these are all the national secured rules. Basically, all the things that are going on in the world that gives you, I would say, a better understanding of the whole thing, what's going on in government. So, yeah. Anyways, I think I'm good for the night, guys. It's a very short night tonight. I thought I had everybody here done. What else I got? One more thing. Oh, yeah. Now, this is a real cool part. You'll see Trump here. Okay, here's Trump. But then there's a second Trump. Have you seen it? Trump number 1, Trump 1 here, and Trump number 2, but he's wearing the black hat. When you see it, you see it. The real one and the clone. Or a mask, we don't know. Trump 1, Trump 2. He was there. This is just before, this happened just before, this is when, it says Trump 2020. This is when the second election took place that he didn't supposed to make it. Now you know. Interesting. Oh, I didn't show you guys that part. Hang on. Let's do this again. Let's bring it back. I forgot to twist it back to you guys to see. Hang on. One more time. There you go. Here and here. They slowed it down. Same Trump 1, Trump 2. And nobody paid attention. This was 2020. And they thought that was his brother, but his brother passed away a long time ago. So what does that tell you? We do find some really cool things. Cool. Anyways, okay, guys, it's been wonderful. Please like and share this program. And also, too, if you want to find me, I'm also on Rumble. And if you want to see that video that I actually shared with you guys tonight, remember the 5th of November, I can share that with you, the video. Just ask me and I'll drop it in your page. Oh, you're saying, Maria, hi, Derek, I messaged you on Telegram. I'm not sure how to join the group chat. Okay, let's see. Let's have a quick look, and I'll give you guys a bit of a heads up on how that works. Okay, let's go there. Now, are you... Okay, all you have to do is find me in there. Let's go back in here. Okay, this is my page called True North Strong and Free. This is my own personal page right here, but I don't use it much as far as my own personal page, but I do use my True North page. This is where it is right here. So, and then I look at the list on the side here if anyone has asked anything about, questionnaires. There is someone who calls themselves Amelia and says hello. I always tell people, try not to use the word hello, more like hi, Derek, or mention me, or I saw you in the show last night, whatever have you, do that. But when you ever see hello, sometimes those are people that are just wanting to push bitcoins and trying to get you to buy their Bitcoin. So it's not really the greatest thing in the world. So let's see. Maria, are you under Maria? MAR? Anything in there that's yours? No, I don't know. Send me your name in the chat room if you can, and I'll find out if you're there. But again, we're okay. Let's see. Let's do this. And is that correct? Is that you right here? Is that correct, you? Maria Stefani, is that yours as last seen? Just say yes or no. Because anytime I tell people they want to join something, you have to use your, so let me know if this is you right here. Yep, is that you? Okay. So what you do, if this is you right here, is that your picture? Okay. Is that you there? Let me know. Yes or no? Is that you? Okay. If it is, then I add you as a contact. Okay. Now you're in. So now you get to see stuff in the chat room. So what I have here is I go to, this is my groups page, and I have my True North Strong and Free page here. And you can see lots of people like to share information on my pages, and because these are people who become group members. You can see the listing here. I had a lot more than that, but some people got mad at me when I was talking about Trump more. So, but lots of stuff to see. And if you want to do any comments and share some information, you're more welcome to in the bottom of the page, and just drop it right in. And then also too, let's see what else is there. Yeah, that should be good here.
I don't know if I'm the only one feeling this, but something just isn't right. It's too quiet. It's too quiet. I was just talking to my wife about this last night. Things are just too calm right now. Now, we shouldn't have fear, worry, or anxiety because we know that God's in control. But it's just way too quiet. I just have this feeling that something ain't right. That something is coming that we're not prepared for. Pay attention. Pay attention because it's way too quiet. This feeling is just way too strong for just to be a coincidence. It is way too quiet. Keep your head on that swivel. Make sure you're paying attention. Make sure your eyes are open, your ears are open, and you're aware of what's going around. Pray for that discernment because it's way too quiet. I pray for the safety of our children in schools. I pray for the safety of all those at work. And I pray for the safety of all those at home because it feels like something's coming. I know I'm not the only one feeling this, and maybe it's our Creator speaking to us. Get your house in order. It's way too quiet. Remember, God loves you. Jesus died to save you, and He's coming back.
And on that note, I think we're doing pretty good, guys. So I want to thank you guys for being part of the program. Really do appreciate it. And like he said, it's way too quiet since Trump came in. Now something's going to come up, right? Let's see. Maria says there must be a different place to be added to the group chat, as I am not seeing the page and other comments. Okay, here. I probably because I didn't drop the page on your page. So I'm going to copy this, copy the link, and then I will go to your page. Okay. And then I drop it in there. Paste. That's my page now. So what you do is you just view the group and you join. That's all you got to do. So just like that. I go back in here again. So what I did is I went back to my page. My True North Strong and Free, and then I drop my, I'll go up here so you guys can see better. Okay, so I have my True North Strong and Free, and I click on this part. You see that blue bar right there? That's my link. So I copy the link, and then I go to your page, say Maria. So I drop the link in there, paste it, and now you click on the group, and you say you want to join. You want to join the group, so then you're in. That's how it works. And then I can send you to other chat rooms that you can go into, and you can see what other people are talking about. This area here, when you see this little heart in the corner, that's telling people, they're showing you that people are actually acknowledging your stories that you're sharing. And there's lots of columns that people share down here. You can see this says 662. That's a lot. Oh, by the way, I want you guys to see this before I forget. Please read that. Okay. You may have to copy it, but this is for real. This is actually real. It happened here in BC. So now you know. So this is for real. This actually has taken place. He's paid people off, and I couldn't figure out how come he got away with it. So it's worse than you think. But you have somebody who is a Canadian girl that said, I'm sharing this. Because one of her friends were in this group that got seriously hurt. That's when he was a drama teacher. Now you know. Oh, by the way, you see how Trump does his reflection? So he shows that where the finger's going. Okay. And he's pointing to, you know who? And you see behind here. Okay. What's it saying? His name. And see the U.S. codes. Okay. Crimes against. Okay. He's next. Now that he's president. He's president now, so he's coming for him. That's why things are quiet. Boom, boom. Coming soon. That's my true north. So a lot of things you can see in here. All kinds of stuff in here. Even executive order has been passed. As of January 20th, guys, look at this. 20th of January. Here's the executive order. Ta-da! I'm so proud with this guy. I'm glad Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is part of this. He's part of the team. Yeah. So it's so fun to be there. But again, I don't just get my information from here. I also get my information from other people as well, and people that are in the military, and whatever you're able to share with me, this is what I do. So anyways, thank you guys for being part of the program. We'll talk to you guys next week, and may God be with you all. I really do appreciate you guys. I hope you guys had a great time when we had the election. I was like going crazy. It was like, yes. And I did a 3-screen setup, and I was watching all 3 screens on my computer. You can see screen 1, screen 2, screen 3. And that's me. This is what I do. I like to have everything on and going, and, you know, da-da-da. Anyways, be good, you guys. Talk to you guys next week. God be with you guys. Take care.
Everyone lives, everyone dies. Everyone loves, everyone cries. What do we find? There's one sea, one tide, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, make peace, peace. Alright, isn't it time, brother, stop dying? Isn't it time, mother, stop crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, in peace, in peace. All right, make peace, peace together. Peace.